Hello everyone. Today we will continue the series of icebergs on members of the band Malice Miser. This one will be about the band's guitarist KÖZI. I dedicated the whole weekend to doing research for this iceberg and I tried to find more obscure things. So I hope that you will enjoy my selection of entries. And like with my previous icebergs, some entries were taken from the new Malice Miser iceberg video. Thank you to Haitani, Mumble Honey, Remelia, Big Body Igor and Canary Casey for supporting me on Patreon. And let's get into the video. KÖZI's name is supposed to be pronounced Koji, not KÖZI, as some people pronounce it. I mistakenly referred to him as KÖZI for a long time in my videos, so I just wanted to put it right at the start of this iceberg. And the O with an umlaut is not pronounced like it would be pronounced in German. That's just a case of the so-called metal umlaut, you know, like how Motley Crue and Motorhead used umlauts in their names but didn't pronounce them the German way. KÖZI was born on May 29, 1972. As far as I know, he has never publicly stated what his year of birth was. The year 1972 was actually confirmed to be KÖZI's birth year by Tetsu. At some point Tetsu mentioned that he was the same age as KÖZI. And sometime later he directly stated in a blog post that him and KÖZI were both born in 1972. KÖZI's most iconic look is the Gekana Yasukyoku one. While in Malice Miser he wore costumes with jester, clown or pierrot aesthetics. In music videos and on stage he incorporated movements reminiscent of marionettes. He also played the court jester in Malice Miser's Third A film. Red is KÖZI's favorite color. In Malice Miser he wore red clothes to symbolize his loud personality as opposed to Mana, who wore blue because he has a quiet personality. KÖZI dresses in red to this day. In 2002, KÖZI decided to start a solo career which would later evolve into a band named ZIS. KÖZI ended his solo career on December 23, 2011 and formed ZIS with members of his backing band. Quote, "About 2 years passed with the 4 of them being part of KÖZI solo, but it gradually became awkward to call us just KÖZI solo, and that quickly blew up in my head, so I thought I should try making a proper band." Honey Vanity is KÖZI's probably most popular song. It was released in 2003 on the Kinema single. As I'm writing this, one upload of the song on YouTube has 1.7 million views. KÖZI's most famous early composition in Malice Miser was the song Sadness. He was also a composer in the Matenro band, which we will talk about later. The style of his compositions changed when he stopped composing on guitar and started doing it on a keyboard. He was responsible for writing Geka no Yasukyoku and Illuminati, some of Malice Miser's most popular songs, as well as, for example, Je te veux and Color Me Blood Red, for which he also provided vocals. Quoting his biography on the Scape website, "Musically he was the wild card of the group. While Mana contributed more of the old European sound and classical instrumentation, KÖZI's compositions often featured unconventional elements, from tango accordion to circus galope to 80s sounding synthesizers. He and Mana generally split the songwriting duties, though his influence waned somewhat in Malice Miser's later period. Later, KÖZI was the first Malice Miser member to own a computer, and he used it to compose songs as well. In the year 2000, in Malice Miser's Kyomononaka no Yugi period, KÖZI shaved the right half of his head. However, he decided to leave one braid on the shaved side. He stated that this haircut was inspired by the Japanese hardcore band Death Side. In July 2025, KÖZI uploaded his discography to Spotify, Apple Music and probably other streaming services as well. He also started an Instagram profile. As you probably expect, he posted a lot of photos of his cats there. KÖZI dropped out of high school in order to move to Tokyo because he wanted to pursue a music career. I found conflicting reports on how old he was at the time. Some websites say he was 16 when he moved to Tokyo. KÖZI himself has said in one interview that he was 17, in another he said he was 18, so I can't say for sure how old he was. Maybe he was 17 turning 18. Anyway, he moved to Tokyo with one of his friends, but they had very little money, so they lived out of KÖZI's car for a few months. They initially took on physical labor at the construction site. Later, KÖZI worked as a bartender and at a karaoke bar. KÖZI's father, who was a primary school teacher, didn't approve of KÖZI's decision to drop out of high school, but over time he changed his mind and started to think it was a good thing that KÖZI did that. As you might recall from the KÖZI Iceberg video, KÖZI and Tetsu are very good friends. They met at a karaoke bar that they both worked at when they were 18, and Tetsu has stated that KÖZI feels like an old childhood friend to him. They remained friends after Tetsu's departure from Malice Miser, but somewhere along the line they had a fight about some trivial thing and they ended up not talking to each other for 2 or 3 years, but they managed to make up. They used to live in the same neighborhood in Tokyo. KÖZI sometimes attends Tetsu's concerts, and he even helped Tetsu fix his storage room or a shed after it was destroyed by a typhoon. KÖZI loves cats and he frequently posts them to his Twitter. Back in the Malice Miser days he had 2 cats named Zaku and Lala. He named Zaku after a character in the Gundam anime. According to Nochu at Semira Miser on Twitter, Zaku passed away in 2009 at the age of 14. Shortly after this, KÖZI adopted a hamster whom he named Kika, so that Lala wouldn't be alone. Lala died in 2015 at the age of 20. His third cat, Duke, passed away in 2023 at the age of 8. KÖZI also had 3 more hamsters, a turtle, a frog and 3 fishes. Currently, KÖZI has 2 cats named Zion and Hamon. KÖZI has a lot of tattoos on his body. Thank you to Nocho at Semira Miser for posting these photos. After Malice Miser went on an indefinite hiatus in 2001, KÖZI and Haruhiko Ash formed an industrial rock duo, Eve of Destiny. Though the project was initially started as Haruhiko's solo project back in 1998. Eve of Destiny chose to target an international market. The duo regularly toured outside Japan. They performed in Australia, Austria, France, Germany, Hungary, the Netherlands, Philippines, Poland, Slovakia, Sweden and Switzerland. Eve of Destiny has been inactive since autumn 2005. KÖZI has a YouTube channel named KÖZI Official. He uploaded videos of him performing live, including his performances of Malice Miser songs.
Show
In January 2025, Koji and Hora of Schwarzstein started a new music project named Mayok. They released their first album, Sessi Bon, in June 2025. In August of that same year, they participated in Mystical Fest, the first visual kei festival in Latin America. While in school, Koji enjoyed painting, and he hoped that he would become a cartoon artist. He liked impressionistic paintings by Salvador Dali and Aubrey Beardsley. On December 13, 2002, former Malice Mizer secretary Minako Honda published a book titled Izayoi no Tsuki. This is how one eBay auction I found describes the book. Shugetsu and Tsukiyono were born with one body. Despite their early beautiful appearance, they spend their days in a freak show because of their bodies. And then another tragedy strikes them. Yua, who grew up without knowing her parents' love. A story of bittersweet yet powerful love centered on the theme of reincarnation, featuring a beautiful body marked by an ugly birthmark and the line, "There used to be someone by my side all the time." In a review on the Escape website, user Amasanin described the book like this. The book is hardback, 127 pages long, very nicely but at the same time simply decorated. It includes a few black and white pictures of Minako and Koji, presumably as characters from the story. The book is accompanied by a CD containing 10 songs written by Koji as a soundtrack for the book. After moving to Tokyo, Koji worked at a karaoke bar. Quote, "At the time there weren't many places where you could work as a bandman with flashy hair or long hair. I was working at a karaoke pub. That same bar is where he first met Tetsu, as well as Mana. He is a fan of David Bowie. He also likes British new wave artists like Duran Duran and Japan." Matenro was a band that Koji and Mana were a part of before Malice Mizer. The band was formed in 1990 and Mana and Koji joined it in late 1991. Mana was a bassist and Koji was a guitarist. They had just a few live performances before disbanding. Thankfully, one of these lives was recorded and released on videotape titled Nervous Night. As Matenro disbanded, Mana and Koji decided that they have similar musical visions and formed Malice Mizer in August 1992. Recently there have been some interesting findings related to Matenro thanks to Cantavanda. He found that 2 demo tapes that were attributed to Matenro were actually fakes. Somebody just took some obscure visual kei band songs and uploaded them to YouTube and claimed that it is a Matenro demo tape. The real Matenro has never released any demo tapes. Koji first learned to play bass because everybody else wanted to play guitar and he wanted to be different. He played bass in many cover bands around his hometown. He started playing guitar after moving to Tokyo, after seeing Seiji Watanabe play songs by heavy metal bands like Motley Crue and Rat. The ESP-AW800, nicknamed Akauzu-kun, is Koji's signature guitar produced by ESP. Richard Kruspe of the industrial metal band Rammstein owns this guitar model. Zawad is a band formed by Koji in 2010. Its vocalist is Shuji Ishii of Caligari and Goatbed, the one who participated in Malice Mizer's Deep Sanctuary reunion in 2018. They went on a hiatus in 2013 and resumed activities in 2018. They continue to occasionally do something from time to time to this day. God Chamber Psycho is Koji's official fan club. It had its own magazine and you can find scans of it on the Escape forums. The fan club was inactive since Koji stopped his solo career. It was reactivated in March 2025 on a website named Fanecon. Koji's parents forced him to learn piano for 6 years when he was in primary school. He said that Despite not liking learning the piano, he actually found the knowledge useful while in Mali's misery. Koji has an older brother who apparently sometimes sends him corn and beans from their hometown. In 1991, before meeting Mana, Koji was a guitarist of a Tokyo band named Girl. Around that same time, Mana was in a band named Girl Lee. Koji recalled that he was aware of Girl's existence before he met Mana. Quote, "I had a band called Girl in Tokyo before I met Mana-chan, but Mana-chan was also in a band called Girl in Osaka at the same time. Before I met Mana-chan, I happened to see an indie band live announcement page behind a music magazine called Rockin' F and noticed a band announcement about an Osaka girl band. And then I thought, is there a band with the same girl name in Osaka? Later I met Mana-chan at the part-time job, but later it turned out that Mana-chan was in that Osaka girl. It's quite a coincidence that I and Mana-chan had the same band name." Also, coincidentally, one of the members of Koji's Girl was Kiyoshi, who would later be in a band named Nervous, of which Tetsu was a vocalist. In September 2024, Koji, Mana and Kaya organized special events in Santiago, the capital of Chile, and in Mexico City. On his YouTube channel, Koji uploaded 3 videos of what he called his Latin America Odyssey. These are basically just vlogs of Koji walking around Chile and Mexico and showing what food he ate.
Gracias. Ciao. Yeah. Stop. Yeah. Stop. Same old you there. Yeah. Stop. Guacamole, amole, amole. Neko. Burundi no 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 neko.
In the 1994 Share the Memoir interview, Koji talked about how he and his schoolmates used to skip class to go to the beach. When asked what they would do there, he responded, "Just talk and smoke." At night there was a public park where cars would gather. They had young couples in them on dates. We would chuck firecrackers at the cars and run away. Or we would go to the sea and throw little rocks at the fishermen. After, we would often go to the bike shop, do some preliminary investigation that took precise teamwork, and then we would steal a bike and sing as we rode along. We did a lot. Those days I didn't think of anything at all, but they were very fun. Right behind my house was the ocean, so all the time in the middle of the night I would go out to it alone, and as I stood there on the beach I would think to myself, the ocean is vast, as the moon rises the day sinks, while also throwing little rocks at the fishermen. They were those kind of days. On March 22, 2025, Koji tweeted, "I went to the hospital first thing in the morning. Truth be told, at our final dress rehearsal yesterday, for the Mayok live, I fell to the floor off of the stage and hit my left elbow. For a while we suspended the rehearsal, as I was too adult with pain to move. They said, should you go to the hospital, but I was like, now's not the time for that. So we continued on. I took some painkillers and went on with the show for the live performance. After the curtain went down, the moment I got backstage, everything went white and I was in Yabuki stages and couldn't move. Yabuki status is a reference to some boxing manga. But apart from getting hurt, the gig was awesome. As it turns out, I was diagnosed with olecranon fracture. They'll have to operate. Forgive this wreck of a Koji. According to Wikipedia, because I'm not a doctor, olecranon fracture is a fracture of the bony portion of the elbow. The injury is fairly common and often occurs following a fall or direct trauma to the elbow. His surgery took place on April 2nd and it went fine. Koji is a good friend of the actor Shin Shimizu. He starred in films such as the 2006 Death Note adaptation, Netflix series Tokyo Swindlers, American TV series Sunny, films like Brother, Zatoichi, Takeshi's, and a bunch of other stuff. Shin mentioned Koji in some of his blog posts and on Twitter. In a 2015 blog post, he wrote about how he brought a guitar and formed a band in middle school with his classmates. Not satisfied with just practicing on my own, I decided to form a band with some classmates. The first band I formed was a Bowie cover band. When I formed the band, there were a lot of people who played guitar, so for some reason I ended up singing. We practiced in the basement cellar of the rice shop's owner's son, who played drums. Every day we gathered in the cellar where the smell of pickled vegetables hung in the air to practice. During spring break in my third year of junior high, the band members decided to enter a Yamaha contest. The winning band went on to compete in the national competition in Tokyo, but we were defeated unceremoniously. Still, it was an unforgettable page in our youth as third-year middle schoolers. Afterwards, Koji, who played guitar, moved to Tokyo with the aim of becoming a professional musician. He formed a band called Malice Miser and made his debut. They became popular enough to perform at the Budokan and other venues. Even now, when we get out for drinks, we get excited talking about those days. In 2013, he posted about meeting with Koji and Tetsu. My friends of 20 years, musicians Koji and Takano Tetsu. Our Koji has been my classmate since middle school, so maybe even longer. He also attends Koji's live shows. Recently, he posted about going to a Ziz concert in 2023. In some blog posts, he calls Koji Koji Powell, which is probably a reference to Cozy Powell, the drummer of bands like Rainbow and Black Sabbath. I wonder if that's an inside joke within their friend group, or maybe Koji got his stage name from Cozy Powell. According to VKG, Koji worked as a roadie for two bands. He was the roadie for Dizolk around the time he was in Girl. The vocalist of Dizolk was Haruhiko Ash, with whom Koji later formed Eve of Destiny. And around this time he was in Matenro, he was a roadie for Size of Love Potion. Koji was apparently a fan of the David Lynch TV show Twin Peaks. For Hyperpop Beat magazine in 1998, Koji cosplayed Laura Palmer, the murder victim that the show focuses on. In September 2008, Koji joined Dali, formed as a cover band of gothic rock and post-punk bands. In 2009, the band went on a 6-year-long hiatus and came back in November 2015. They released an album in 2017, and Koji left the band in June 2022. Vamquet is a musical trio formed by Koji in 2016. Similarly to Zavat, Vamquet also takes long pauses between its activities, even longer than the Zavat ones, I think. Beyond the Raid site was the first known band that Koji was a part of. It was active since 1989 to 1991. There exists a photo of Koji from way back then. They made 2 demo tapes. One of them, containing only one song, sold on Yahoo Actions for about $2,000 in 2022. In a 2013 interview with Tetsu, Koji mentioned that he was missing a tooth back when he first met Tetsu. Quote, "When I was a young grade school student, I hit one of my growing permanent teeth on a metal gymnastics bar and it broke off. As I grew up, the remaining front teeth shifted into the middle and I ended up giving the nuance of being Honkan from Vagabond. When he, quote, started to really get serious about bands, he decided to take care of it and he got a fill-in." Koji is dedicated to giving his autograph to everybody after every concert. In one incident, when a fan missed out on an autograph and went into a taxi, Koji chased after the taxi and stopped it just to give the fan an autograph. Here's a photo of Koji wearing bunny ears. I don't have anything to say here, I just thought he's cute. A Japan reference forum thread about Koji starts with a post from a user named Toshiya, who wrote about Eve of Destiny's concert in Paris, France, in April 2004. They end the post by saying, "Unfortunately, the band had their passports and money stolen, so now they have to stay in France for a while." Another user commented that the passports thing might be a lie, since Eve of Destiny performed in the Netherlands on the next day. But as noted by another user, you don't need a passport to travel from France to the Netherlands. However, well, I don't know how this stuff worked back in 2004, but as far as I know, when you come to countries of the European Union and the Schengen zone from outside of the EU, you still need to have a passport with you at all times. If the stolen passport story is true, then what I think happened is Koji and Haruhiko probably quickly contacted the Japanese embassy and they got issued emergency travel documents. Someone who attended the Netherlands show said that they looked pretty depressed. And the person who started the thread commented saying that they came back to France to deal with the passports problem with the Japanese embassy. Remember that this is just hearsay on a forum thread, so take this story with a grain of salt, but I thought it was interesting. Koji's biography on the Escape website mentions that, quote, "He became associated in some unspecified manner with the hair salon Fashion Monster." As far as I can tell, the details of their association has never been specified. If they were, then they probably got lost over the last 16 years. The earliest capture of Fashion Monster's blog is from August 2009. You can see that on August 25th they posted a photo of Koji's guitar with a text saying, "For the first time in a while, someone came by to visit our shop. The owner of this guitar, Akauzu-kun, who exudes a very naughty aura in our shop." Fashion Monster was credited for doing Koji's hair and makeup in photoshoots. Fans had several theories about what Fashion Monster might have been. Some theorized that maybe Koji started working as a hairdresser, others said that Koji is an owner of this hair salon, and others thought that maybe it was owned by Koji's significant other. Anyway, the salon was located in Hino, a city in the Tokyo metropolis, under the address 1356 Hino. We can visit this location on Google Street View. The last photograph showing the Fashion Monster building in all of its glory was taken in April 2014. An October 2014 photo shows the building partially covered, and you can see that there's something going on outside of it. A March 2015 photo shows that by then the building was deconstructed and there was a bunch of scaffoldings in its place. And since then, I guess there is just a standard residential home standing there. Due to lyrical and visual content in Koji's work, it is generally assumed that he is interested in sadomasochism and has an eyeball fetish. He even stated in one interview that he has an eyeball fetish, but honestly, Malice Miser interviews aren't a reliable source for this type of things, as the guys are more than likely to just make up something funny, which is what I assume the other members did. In 2005, Koji produced a soundtrack for a 15 minutes long independent film titled Blue Diamond Knuckles, directed by Natsume Daiichiro. I don't know if you can find this film in its entirety anywhere on the internet, but you can find its trailer here on YouTube.
あんたまだお仕事つるんでんだ。人殴ってお金もらうなんてやめなさいよ。
And that would be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Like I said in the intro, it took me quite a while to research it, so I hope you enjoyed. I know I could have put a lot more other stuff here, but as I said, I wanted to focus on the lesser known things, not just something you can find on KÖZI's Wikipedia or any of the websites that pop up when you just look him up on Google. Next iceberg I think will be a revamped mana one, so stay tuned for that. I don't know yet how much different it will be from the original. I will add a few more entries definitely, and well, the main reason why I'm making it again is, well, because I'm not satisfied with my narration in the old one. Again, thank you to Haitani, Mumble Honey, Remilia, Big Body Igor and Canary Casey for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you all for watching and goodbye.